gym floor, the walking trail around it. And we do rentals. We rent the facility out for banquets, and that's a free yard sale that there's a local Bible study group that puts that on every year, and everything there is free for anybody who wants to come get it. People bring their things in and they sort it out and hang it, and they get rid of everything to the community, anybody that wants it. So there's just, in a small town like that, there's endless possibilities for a facility this size. And there's so many of them sitting around that are just going to waste. I know a lot of you probably have properties in mind right now that, and if you do, go for it, because it's not impossible. I mean, it's nothing that you can do, but it can come together and work. So, but we have, there's basketball leagues, soccer leagues, the football team uses the field, the little guys do exercising, and that's on top of our membership. And Cheryl is great. She books that place, and she knows who's there when they're there, and she likes it so much she actually bought the house that is right beside us, so she's right there.
Doug and Andy, can I ask you guys, what's the, I know this stuff looks great now, but what's something you wish you would have done differently at the beginning? A mistake you made, or something that if you had a do-over would have done differently?
I really can't think of any regrets that we do have.
That's great.
The only apology that I have had in the whole thing was I drove pretty hard, pushed pretty hard.
Yeah.
Volunteers and the people that come up to help us wanted to get this open on such and such a date. So after it was all over with, and you can always apologize later. So I did get up enough nerve to go before the church on Sunday morning and apologize for being the way I was, and then if they couldn't get over that, then
I really appreciate you saying that, because this stuff is hard. I don't want to lose the fact. You guys you have the right to feel really proud about it now, but I don't want to lose the fact that there are moments where you're pissing some people off because you're being tough.
That's the truth. It is. There's times that you run into, and everybody doesn't agree on everything, and that's fine. Doug and I kind of work that way. We know that everybody's not going to agree, and we don't agree on everything. But we always go with the best plan. Whatever's going to work the best. You got to be flexible enough to see if there's a better way to do it that way.
Yeah. I really appreciate that. Let's give our first two presenters a quick round of applause. Are we ready to go on the grocery store?
Thanks.
I wasn't quite ready.
That wasn't good enough, Fred. Pep it up a little bit.
Spielberg.
There you go. Cut!
I need more.
Yeah.
I'm Fritz Bettner. I'm with the Alderson Community Food Hub located in Alderson, West Virginia. Down in the southeastern part of the state along the Greenbrier River, about 20 miles or so, sort of in between Lewisburg and Hinton. We are on the border of 3 different counties: Monroe, Summers, and Greenbrier County. So what I want to talk a little bit about, when I alluded to in my speech in the beginning, is that yes, we do have a grocery store, and yes, we did a lot of work to build it up, but it didn't just start there. And I want to talk a little bit about the foundational work we had to do to be even able to take on something like that as a group of volunteers. So we started a food hub probably, and I use the term food hub lightly or loosely, about 5 years ago. The first thing we were going to do is start a community market. There was not a farmer's market in our town whatsoever, and we live in the middle of agricultural country, so it just did not make any sense to me. I had a small farm, and it's like, let's start one. But one thing that I think the founders were very sensitive of is, I'm from West Virginia. I grew up in Charleston, and I moved there, so I'm still sort of an outsider, and and my wife is too. And so we really wanted to make sure that's something that the community even wanted to have in the first place before we tell them that they need to have it. So we went to city council, Main Street meetings, and had presentations and discussions, and then we actually just walked around town talking to people, surveyed people, had online surveys to see if we had a community market, a farmer's market. A, would you come? B, what do you want to see there? And then C, what day do you want to have it? And so we got all those questions. They wanted it on Saturday. They were very excited to have it, and that was great, but it immediately conflicted with Lewisburg. You don't want to mess with Lewisburg sometimes, it's the both. So they have Saturday markets, and they were very upset that we wanted to have a Saturday market. And we said, that's what our community wants to have, and that's why we're doing this. So we had it anyways, and it's been very successful. So that's sort of where it started. Could you go back? Keep going. There you go. So that's been going, we get about 20,000 visits a year, over $30,000 a year in sales. And then we're like, why not have a community garden and start a Grow Appalachia site. So we had a church in town that had about an acre of land right in town. And again, the same process. It's like, we might want one, but do other people want one? If we build this thing, are people actually going to want to participate? So we go through that process all the time. Always checking back in with the community, because again, there's nothing more annoying than like top down. We wanted to be very bottom up, community based. And we've been a Grow Appalachia site. I know you heard the presentation today. We've been a Grow Appalachia site for 3 years now. Full participation, folks growing all kinds of food. We have a program at the elementary school where we have school plots there with greenhouse. The kids tend, our farmers that sell to us go in and teach them how to grow, and then they actually grow food and then sell it to the green grocers. So we're sort of trying to teach them, like, you're growing and you're selling and you're eating. So we get about 50 students per year doing that. We just recently started our aggregation and distribution and a farm to school, which has been really interesting and exciting. Again, working through the same process. It's like, if we do this, is there a market for us to even sell to? So I immediately called the Greenbrier County Schools and like, we're thinking about organizing all these producers. Would you be interested in buying from us if we were able to do that from one place? And they're like, oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. She's like, I'm dealing with like 30 farmers and we're not doing a very good job of it. If you could provide that service, that would be great. So that's what we did. So I got all of their stuff together and I was like, so what is it? So what do you want? How much of it? When? And all that stuff. Put together this great spreadsheet. I was feeling good about myself. Had a meeting with the producers. I'm like, look at all this food that they want to buy. Thousands of pounds of lettuce and broccoli and cauliflower. And then I just sort of get these blank stares from all the farmers in the room. They're like, we can't grow that much. I mean, that's impossible. We do not have enough production right now to meet that demand. And some of your prices aren't that great in the first place. So what we decided to do is like, well, what prices on here are that great for what you want to grow? We don't have to grow everything. We can grow 5 things. We can deliver to one school, which is, you all decide. And so we worked through them to say, and then we went back to the schools and we're like, this is what we're going to provide. We'd like to see this pricing instead. And they were a hard bargain. We got them to go up a little bit. And so we've identified both the buyer and the seller and sort of organized that. So we've done 27 deliveries so far, sold about $4,000 worth of food. That way, we have a mobile market, which is, it's a pop-up market at some of the senior centers in the valley and also some of the housing developments. Now, so that is all the things that we're trying to keep moving. This was all built with volunteer labor. We have very little funding. We don't write lots of grants. We have the one foundation gives us a little bit of seed money each year. They're a great organization to work with. I would encourage you. They're a different type of funding organization. They really work with you, which is nice. So now we operate. We've had the Green Grocer for about a year or so, a little about a year and 2 months. We have $330,000 worth of sales. Over $100,000 of that was local produce. And so our model for buying local produce is a little bit different than, say, like the Wild Ranch, where they're working on more of a consignment base. We are actually purchasing it from them the day that they bring it in. So we're sort of a buyer in that situation. We wanted to try this model out just to sort of see what type of encouragement we would get from the farmers, sort of feeling secure that, like, if we have a market, if you grow it, bring it here, we will pay you this day for it, which is different, maybe just a little bit different. And so that's work, because there's lots of farmers in the beginning who were growing just a little bit, and then selling here and selling there. And then all of a sudden we're like, here's this market that's going to be here all the time for you. And then they started ramping stuff up, which has been great. Still nowhere even close, but still been working out great. We accept SNAP and all sorts of other stuff. So you guys go ahead.
Got about 5 minutes.
Okay. So I'll show you videos so I don't have to talk so much. So getting into the why do we need a grocery store? Let's watch this video and I won't have to talk. So this is a video that we made with a phone and like some really bad software with someone who didn't know what the heck they were doing. So it's hokey, but then hokey sells, so it works out pretty well. The prices, and the first thing they said to me is like, we need to do this, so we need to figure out how, because we need to feed our community. And it's sort of the same thing here. Not to make everyone happy. Some producers are like, I'm not doing this because I need money. And we're like, I'm with you, I hear it, and we will keep working hard to to get those prices higher and higher, but right now, we sort of are. Start a crowdfunding campaign. And so it's Indiegogo, you're able to go on there, to upload stuff, have goals, and people can donate money. Like I was saying before, people donated it from all over the world. It's like, it's viral. You start putting on Facebook, starts going around, there's a couple local food, like superstars on there. I'm like, wow, they did it too. So it ended up getting out there. So sort of the how, timing was key. I mean, obviously the grocery store closed. It provided us an opportunity. But there's a reason why the grocery store closed. The market's just tough. And so we had to, if we were going to do this, we had to have community support, because we're not going to do it and no one shows up and then we're out of business. So we had lots and lots and lots of meetings, bringing people in, asking them, what do you want in this grocery store? What do you need to have? Because the fear, not the fear, but their preconceptions are that we're just a bunch of hippie people trying to sell quinoa and, stuff like that, and kale salads. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to create something that we can all, we're going to have quinoa and kale. We're going to have that because people say they want it. But we're also going to have anything that you want, and it's going to be an evolving process. And so the crowdfunding, and so we started a community branding campaign. This I Love Food, I Love Alderson. So we have a whole website, and we loaded it on there, like people all over the world would hold that little sign up, it's like take a picture of themselves. We just, you try to get those things that begin to just take off and be viral. And then the cool thing was, is we met our goal of $40,000 online, and then our whole goal was like $60,000 or $50,000. And we had a community dance, and we're like, people love community dance in our town. You put the country band up there, and some line dancing, and a pie circle. All of a sudden, the whole town showed up. We were all like, I can't believe all these people just showed up. And people that have already donated money were just dropping. We're like $10 donation, they would hand me a $50. And this is, again, a small town, doesn't have a lot of money, and people were just into it. So to do the work, it was basically over 40 volunteers, 1,000 hours, 2 months of work to make it all happen. And this isn't just like building. We had to figure out where are we supposed to buy food? How do we do that? How do we get this stuff on the shelves? Who's going to run it? Who's going to manage it? So we hired a manager who used to work at Kroger's that was totally into the local food scene. We paid her a heck of a lot less money, and she works twice as hard. We're trying to fix that, But that's what it takes. It takes people who are willing just to put in blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours I stopped counting after a while, but it's contagious, and I'm telling you, it's like, you start doing it, you're like, we're doing this, There's no one telling us that we're not going to do this, we just start doing it. And then again, just keep working, keep doing it. This is our store now, so people come on off the road, we're like, ramps are huge sellers. And like, these guys just come off the mountain with big bags of ramps, we're like, we'll buy those off of you right now. They're like, really? Like, they're like, what do you think, $3 a pound, we'll take it. And we sell, like, they'll be gone in one day. This is pictures of our grocery store. We have freezers and coolers. And so we were able to get some donations for equipment. Like another good timing thing is that there was this thing in Lewisburg called The Spring, this big fancy thing. They spent a lot of money on, then it closed down. They didn't know what to do with the equipment because it was nonprofit, so they donated it to us. So we got like deli coolers and tables and stuff like that. And then will that one work? One more video. I want to end on a funny note. You could go to the website. And the most important thing is, as I found, is like this is one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, for sure.
Any quick questions for the panelists?
I'll be that link at some point.
Hey, Fritz,
Yeah.
I'll
question. Reflecting back on opening in the corner of the tchotchke shop, would you do that again if you looking backwards?
As far as what, like?
As opposed to just holding until you have a building
No, I mean, we run that balance between, I've seen lots of organizations that go too big too quickly and can't support themselves. And we just started doing this little teeny thing, and then just, I think it was the right thing to do, for sure. It's just that way, and we still do it to this day. Like we're in the black right now. Like we don't overcommit ourselves, because if we go into the red and we can't operate the store anymore, then that's all.
Oh.
So that got us over the last like 5,000. We posted that video, and all of a sudden people do.
Move around a little bit, check it out a little bit. We've had a long day. It's a mobility afternoon. You have big lunch. Let's do yeah. If I can have Gabe, what should we do? Give us a stretch to do real quick.
Kind of like shoulders.
All right.
Get the shoulders going. Roll the head around.
Joel, what do we do? Left.
I guess for your shoulder, so you've been sitting a while, so probably arm circle.
Let's do our arm circle.
And backwards.
Okay. Kathy, what are we gonna do?
Let's do some twists.
All right. All right. So what we're gonna do is find somebody else you don't know, someone you have not yet spoken to. Pair up. You can pair up with one of the speakers if you want to, and just practice saying out loud the big thing you want to do in your community, or the big thing you're thinking you maybe want to do. Go back and forth, just sort of trade some ideas for 2 or 3 minutes. Then we'll come back and we'll do more in-depth Q&A with our folks. Sound good? Go. I'll call you back in 3 minutes. Yeah.